Hey y'all, what's up? It doesn't look like anybody's in here yet, so we'll give it a few minutes. Hopefully, somebody or some people will make it in. It's kind of just a test right now. Wanna wanna test out how I do, how going live works, um, like participation, that kind of thing. Just everything having to do with going live. So yeah, if you're watching this even later, I appreciate you stopping by and checking out what I got going on and what I have to say. Uh, I'll go ahead and tell you that I'm not looking to be a political channel. Not looking to really say anything that's political, but I probably will. Um, in my mind, it's not really a political statement when I say certain things. It's more of a personal statement. It's what I believe, what I think should happen, is happening, um, how I think things should be handled. Um, Even just for instance, let's say that somebody, for whatever reason, wants my advice on something. Let's say a relationship. Um, I've been married for 32 years, I'm pretty sure. Um, but that doesn't make me an expert. Doesn't mean that I've done everything right. There's plenty that I've done incorrectly or could have done better. So I'm not an expert, but I'll let you know like how I feel or what I think should be done or things like that. Um, I don't mind doing that. Uh, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm a vapor. I vape, and I got new. I won't go into details. I got new equipment. Got a new tank, and the coils work different than the ones that I used to have. I'm trying to figure out. There we go. Trying to figure out how to get the old coil out. I didn't know how. um, but yeah, I think. I mean, my intention for anytime I go live is going to be sort of updates and what's going on in life. Um, Things that I might have strong opinions of that I just want to get out there. Want to think I need to be said. I'm having trouble talking today. So that's the intention. That's what I have planned, and I don't plan on doing like all day IRLs. Nothing like that. I know that there's a couple people that they kind of have the market on that. They've perfected it. So I don't plan on spending more than a couple hours ever, if I even stay that long. I mean, it could be a 20-minute live, or it could very well be a 2 hour live. Like I say, I don't ever plan on spending more than a couple hours because I don't really have that much to say. Uh, that could change later on down the road, if things pick up and people start being active and things like that, could very well be that I'm on more. But it's not a plan because, like I say, I don't believe I have that much to say, especially not that much to say that anybody else wants to hear. So uh, we just have to see how that goes also. Um, I guess I can start off with something that I've been seeing. It's a hot topic, and sort of give my thoughts on it, and that is the EBT. You know, I fought for 25 years uh, for this country, and I always say I didn't fight for your rights. I fought for your right to choose. I fought to keep the country free so that you have freedom, that you can choose freedom. If you don't choose freedom, that's like completely up to you. But the option is there. One thing that I didn't do was fight for someone's right to take away someone else's freedoms. Um, and what I mean by that is if someone, I'm going to say this first. Just because I don't participate or I don't, I'm not part of a lifestyle, or let's say, even if it's a case of I might not agree with it at all. But if that's what you choose, I I stand behind the freedom of your choice, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone else, especially children. So something like, for instance, something like your freedom to touch someone underage, let's say. No, you don't have that freedom. That's not what I'm talking. Whoa, where y'all going? You don't have that choice. You don't have that freedom. However, if you you do have the choice and the freedom to choose to this is a completely different topic, and I'm not going to get into it right this second. Maybe later, maybe another time. You do have the right to choose your sexual preference. Once your adult mind has formed. In other words, I do not agree with parents grooming their child to be transgender or even gender neutral. I can get behind and support a parent that doesn't put the pressure, doesn't put the strain on a adolescent mind, a mind that is still growing, still forming its scientific fact, to be one thing. If you want to treat them gender neutral, I have no problem with that. But let the child decide whether they're gay, whether they want to trans. And I say to trans because, again, another subject we can go deep into transition. If you are transitioning, you should not be a man dressing up as a woman for 10 years. You should be in the process of becoming a woman. If you just dress up as a woman for 10 years, you're a cross-dresser. You are not trans. So don't put that on the whole community that you mislabel yourself, I don't know, to be cool, or to use the in term or anything like that. Like I say, I'm not getting into that right this minute. Maybe later, maybe completely different day. So anyway, I agree with choice as long as it doesn't interfere with someone else's choices, freedoms, and especially children. Don't bother children in whatever you do. And I say that to get into the EBT and all everything. Um, I've seen some of the videos of people like going off, just screaming, yelling. You're taking away, you're taking food out of my child's off my child's plate. My child's going to go hungry because of these limitations, and it's not really true. First of all, and this is just a specific one I just watched this morning. Uh, One lady was complaining about you're taking food off my kid's plate. My child is going to go hungry. Well, no, not really, because I can afford to feed my child. I can afford to pay my rent. You take away these benefits, and all that does is keep me from getting my hair done, my nails done, and I can live with that because my EBT isn't mine anyway. It's my mother's. Everything about that was wrong. Everything. I mean, she's using her mother's EBT. It's not even for her. It's not even for her kids. Then she only got food stamps so that she can get her hair, and so she'll have money to get her hair and nails done. That's not what it's for. Or actually, excuse me, I just said it. Her mother got food stamps, but she's using them to feed her kids and stuff so that she can go get her hair and nails done. But she can afford to do it. She can afford to feed her kids, she said. She has a job. Well, you just admitted to misusing the entire program. Everything about it. You've admitted to doing everything wrong. It makes no sense. But you had the choice. You had the choice to do it wrong, just like, and everybody's saying it's Trump, 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 Trump. It's partially Trump. The bill came out, the big beautiful bill. If you haven't read what it is, go read it. I even made a song about it. And I didn't make the song from either side of the aisle. Not blue, not red, not a rhino, not anything. It was just to explain basically what the big beautiful bill is for. And I'm going to try to make it basic here. It's just saying If you're an able-bodied person, if you can work, if you if you can't prove that you can't work, then you're not going to be on. You're not going to get food stamps, or they're going to be reduced. I've seen videos, and I've heard people on podcasts and stuff saying that, for instance, one specific, there again, YouTube video. Lady put out her on, I think it was on Instagram, on her Instagram stories. She put out that the reason that she had 7 kids was so that she didn't have to work. She's able-bodied, had 7 kids by either 5 or 6 different men, which, hey, choice. She's free. It's her choice. She can lay with whoever she wants to, I guess. But if she chooses to lay with those men, and she chooses to have those children, I shouldn't have to pay for it. Y'all shouldn't have to pay for it. She should have to pay for it. Her and those guys should have to pay for it, not us. It's not our responsibility. So anyway, she said that her $1,400, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Her $1,400 a month got reduced down to like $300. And, what am I going to do now? Now I'm going to have to go get a job. I probably can't get a job. If I do get a job, then the child care is going to take every penny that I make. If that's the case, if that is what happens, if she goes and gets a job and she still can't make it, that is what the assistance is for. The assistance is for the ones that make an effort and still just can't make it. They can't get the ends to meet. So, I've seen others where that I can't get my hair and nails done anymore because they won't accept my EBT. It was never meant for that. Somebody else that said that the unhealthy food, the chips and the cakes and the honey buns and the ice cream, those are the things that are cheap that fill her children's stomachs. Now that she can't get those, the healthy food is more expensive. So she won't be able to buy hardly anything. And that's not true. That is not true at all. A bag of potato, you're telling me that a bag of potato chips costs less than a banana? I don't think so. You're telling me that a box of honey buns costs less than a bag of apples? No. Even if you get the premium apples, the high quality apples, they're going to be about the same. Chips are definitely not less. Or excuse me, the honey buns are definitely not less. And that's for one. She bought the big box. She had piles and piles of chips and honey buns and Little Debbie's cakes and all this sitting behind her, and that's what she was complaining about. I can't get this stuff anymore. The other thing is, when she said, I can't get this stuff anymore, that's not true. No, that's not true at all. See, because what you can get is flour, and you can get eggs, and you can get milk, and you can make a honey bun. Why don't you do that? It's going to be healthier, probably going to taste better. If you want those snacks, you can make them from the ingredients that you can get with that EBT card. You just can't go buy the pre-made snacks. You can buy potatoes. You can buy cooking oil. I've made potato chips many times here at home. Cut the potatoes really thin, drop them in really hot oil, give it a couple minutes, pull them out, salt them, potato chips. Do you really want to get slick? Go to not a consignment shop. I'm sorry, a secondhand shop or just a cheap store, and get you one of those mandolins. I think that's what they're called. I have one, but I don't know what it's called. I think it's called a mandolin. Make potato chips instead of buying a bag of chips. They're going to be better for you. They're not going to have all the preservatives and dyes and all that stuff, the stuff that makes the kids hyper or causes cancer. None of that. That's where you go. That's what you do. Instead of buying the unhealthy food stuff, make the unhealthy food. That's my opinion. I don't think anybody's ever said that, but when I read the um, Big Beautiful Bill, that's one of the things that I got from it was that it's sort of forcing people to eat healthier by making them create their own unhealthy snacks, which are still healthier. Um, so yeah, I think some people have grown used to, they've grown accustomed to being in Section 8, um, being on food stamps, getting whatever welfare, whatever assistance is out there. They've gotten used to, like, they're supposed to get it. And every one of these things is supposed to be um, a transitional program, supposed to help you get back on your feet, get to a place that where you can handle things on your own, do it on your own, pay your own bills. Um, I talked to a lady one time, and I like to talk to people about their dreams. You know, what is your dream? What is the thing that you think is achievable, but you just don't have right now? Something you want that you don't have, but you'd love to get. Her dream was to, I think it was to lease a. I don't remember the car. I'm sorry, I just don't remember. But it's a cheap car. She wanted to lease this cheap car. A throwaway car is what it's known as in my circles. She wanted to lease a throwaway car, and she wanted to one day have her own uh, townhome. Not a house, not land, a townhome. Because she was living in a Section 8, what do you call it, flat, but it was like a one-story apartment. She wanted to stay in those same apartments, but have a townhome. That's as far as her dreams went. She wanted a like $16,000 car. She wanted to lease a $16,000 car, not even buy it, and get into a Section 8 townhome. People have lost that dream. Their dreams have gone. They're not being taught. They're not being asked about. I don't know. It probably starts in school. I can't imagine that parents don't ask, but maybe parents don't ask. Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do? What do you want to own? Where do you want to go? What do you want to see? Um, having, and I'm not saying that everyone. I don't want a Lamborghini. They're cool. They're cool to look at. I've ridden in a couple of Lamborghinis, and it was cool to ride in one, but I would not want to drive it every day. It is a rough ride. When people lower down their Hondas all the way to the axle, a lot of people call it, it's like riding a skateboard. Well, that's how Lamborghini, well, the ones I've ridden in, that's how they are. It's like riding a skateboard. It's rough. Um, I would rather have a Corvette. They ride, in comparison, they ride much better. They aren't great, but they're better than a Lamborghini. Um, the same thing. I don't need a 4,000 square foot home. I don't even want one. It's a lot of cleaning, or you're gonna have to hire a bunch of people to clean it and be a butler or a maid or whatever. Yeah, no, I don't need all that. Don't want it. I would rather I'd rather have a small home, um, somewhere between 1,400. I'll go ahead and tell you, I already have this. Um, I've always said between 14 and 1,800 square feet. We're at 1,580, so right in there. But I would rather have land. Instead of having a big giant home, I would rather have land. We have 10 acres now. I'd love to be able to find a place up to 100 acres that I can do what I want to with. I don't have to worry about hearing my neighbor's radio, or if I want to go out and shoot caps, on the little red strip. I hope you get what I'm saying. Um, if I want to play with caps out in my yard, I don't want the neighbors to be able to call the police and just come over and like harass me. So 100 acres would be great. We have 10 now. Maybe one day we'll get the 100 acres. I'd also love to travel. I've been in the military. I was in the military for 25 years. That's probably where a lot of um, my thought process, my feelings on things, the way I think about certain subjects. It's probably where it came from. Was military, and then also my upbringing, I'm sure. But 25 years in the military, I've seen a lot of the world. I haven't seen all of the world, but I've seen enough places to say that I've seen the world. For instance, I've never been to Russia, but I've been to Croatia. It gives me a good idea of Russia. Um, just things like I'm not going to give all the examples, but um, I've seen a lot of places. There are still places that I would like to visit one day, but they're not necessarily on a bucket list. It's just like, yeah, if I ever get the chance, I'd like to go. But I would love to get an RV and me and my wife just travel around, go to all kinds of places. One of the things, like, I was a truck driver for several years. There was a break-in service. I was in the Navy for 9 years, out of the service for 8 years, and went back in 2008. Went into the Army in 2008. During that break, I did a couple things, but one of the main things I did was drove a truck and over the road. And at this company, I was one of the few people that had a passport. So they asked me one day if I had a passport, and I said yes. And they're like, "Well, our driver that goes to Winnipeg, he can't do it. Will you do it?" I said, "Yeah, I can do that drive once." Um, because I was hired as a regional driver, and I loved it. Once I started doing that Winnipeg run, it would take me 14 days. No, I'm sorry, 12 days. It would take me 12 days to get up there, making stops along the way, dropping off stuff, picking other stuff up, go to Winnipeg, do that drop off, and on the way back, do the same thing. Pick up, drop off, switch trailers, all that. And I would get back in 12 days, get 2 days off, and have to do the run again. And after a while, I just said, hey, this is not what I signed up for. I'm supposed to be a regional driver. Anyway, I don't know why I went into that tangent. So anyway, I would go to Winnipeg, and I liked what I saw in Canada. I really, the people were nice. It was clean. I would just like to go visit several places in Canada just for the experience. There's places out west that I've never been that I would like to go see. You know, Montana would be nice. Uh, North and South Dakota. Some of these places I've been through, but I've never stayed for any amount of time. Um, I'm not a heat guy. I could do without the heat. So there are places that I'd like to see, but they're just too hot. Grand Canyon, love to see it, but I'm not going to deal with the heat. I can't. It's actually physically I can't. Once it gets above 70 degrees, which 70 is uncomfortable, that's when I start sweating. Anything above that, and I'm taking the chance of not dehydrating, uh, overheating. Just part of some physical challenges, medical challenges that I have. But then there's a few other places. I mean, and that's where my dreams go. And going back to this young lady, here she is. I mean, she was in her 20s, like mid 20s. 3 kids, one husband. So not talking down, but she was so or is so comfortable and so one track minded about Section 8 and assistance and EBT, and she thinks that's the only way to go. That's life. And her dreams have been diminished to leasing a throwaway car and getting a Section 8 townhouse. So people need to broaden their, I don't know, their wants, needs, desires, dreams. Dream bigger. If we start cultivating more dreams, people will their whole mindset will change to want to do more, want to be more. There's probably great inventors, great minds, just absolute geniuses in Section 8 housing now, but they're being trained to accept that that's how it is. That's as far as they get to go. They can't do any better. So they're geniuses that will just be wasted. And it's not just Section 8 housing. That's what I'm using for an example, but I'm sure that there's probably rich kids. There's probably kids that grew up in millions of dollar, $2-3 million house, rode around in Rolls Royces their whole life. Their first car is a BMW M3. Could be geniuses. But dad owns the, I don't know, concrete company in town. So he's groomed, this child is groomed to one day run the concrete company, and we lose out on his genius. And I say his, could be a female. But we lose out on that genius because we're not cultivating the minds of people anymore. And that's where the dependency on aid comes from. A lot of times the same people that are depending on that aid are groomed to believe that people crossing our border illegally, it's okay. It's not a problem. They are, I hear this all the time. Hear this on YouTube. I keep pointing that way because there's a TV over there. I hear this type of statement often, and that statement is, this country was built on immigrants. It was. It absolutely was built on immigrants. None of us are from here. Well, not. I don't look it. I look like with the red and the white skin. I look like probably Viking or something. But my heritage.com says that I'm mostly Native American. Um, but the immigrants that came here, they were legal immigrants. They came here on a work visa, or they got their citizenship and then came here through Ellis Island, and they did it right, and then came and built. They didn't just jump in a little canoe and travel here. They didn't cross a river over in Texas and come here to build. They didn't do that. This country was built with the hands of immigrants, but they were immigrants that came to this country the right way. For some reason, that's disappeared. It's gone. And the people that they've been groomed to have the closed mindset of, I need assistance, also have been groomed, most of them, not all of them, but they've been groomed to accept, like, hey, it's okay that people come here illegally. Then you also have the rich people, um, the orchard owners. Okay, who's going to pick and I'm making up something, just throwing it out there. Who's going to pick the strawberries once all these illegal, undocumented people are gone? They're the ones that pick your strawberries now. It's not a fact that Americans don't want to pick the strawberries. It's just that you have to pay a fair wage when you pay an American. These illegals come over here, they can't complain that you're paying them $2, $2.50 an hour. They can't say anything because they're here illegally. They can't go and complain. But an American can say, no, that is hard work, and you're going to pay me $15, $18 an hour to do it. And if you don't pay me $18 an hour, then I'll go somewhere else. I'll go down the road and pick oranges for $18 an hour. That's the difference. It's not that the jobs won't get done. It's that the owners will have to pay a fair wage for the job to get done. And they don't want that. They would much rather pay $3 an hour to an illegal than have to pay $18 an hour to an American. But there's plenty of Americans that would love to have those jobs, but get paid fairly. Same thing with restaurants. Well, who's going to make your food in the restaurants? Because every restaurant, the kitchen is full of Hispanics. It could be. I think most of the Hispanics that are in those kitchens are probably documented. They're probably here legally. They're at least here on a visa. Some of them have probably gotten citizenship. But the ones that aren't documented, that aren't here legally, you remove them, and now you have to pay a legal wage. You're going to be forced to pay what the job is worth. Can't be paid what the person is worth. For instance, if I go to do a job, I have to accept what the job is worth. The job, basket weaving. Basket weaving is worth $8 an hour. I'm worth millions and billions of dollars an hour. But I can't get paid that. Nobody's going to pay that much for me to weave baskets. So a fair wage will have to be paid according to whatever job it is. And that's the difference. And these people that are complaining about don't remove them, they have every right to be here. Um, it's illegal and inhumane to send these people back to Mexico or back over the border. Some of them didn't come from Mexico; they come from all over. Uh, they found was it Pakistanis and people people from all over, from Europe, Asia, everywhere, coming across the southern border. Oh, they say it's inhumane to send them back. However, these people live in gated communities with security alarms on their houses, and may even have bodyguards sitting in front of their driveway. So you don't allow American citizens to walk up in your yard, but you're willing to allow people from other countries to walk into our yard, the people's yard. I've heard the argument that the Constitution is for all people, everyone. Also, that the amendments are for free speech and gun law, gun rights, and all those rights are for all people. But if you actually read it, first part of the Constitution is we the people of the United States. To be of the United States, you have to be a citizen. So to be a people of the United States requires citizenship. Once you get past that part, everything else applies to citizens. Not all people. Hate to bust that bubble, but you gotta read, and you gotta understand what you're reading. You gotta quit listening to the propaganda trolls. I mean, basically, that's what they are. You have these people out here that are they're spreading propaganda with an agenda. By the way, they have an agenda. There's a reason behind why they say the things that they say and do the things that they do. But they spread a falsehood, whether it be about the border, whether it be about guns, whether it be about sexual preference, whatever it is. There's always an agenda behind people doing what they do. Even the ones that we think of as good guys. There is an agenda behind me making this video. And it's to explain a point of view about subjects. Some people might say, well, your agenda is to get paid for making that video. Not really. I mean, I'm not going to lie. If I make money, that's great. But that is not my purpose. My purpose is maybe someone will see this video at some point that they've never thought of things the way that I explain them. Maybe it'll change their mind, or maybe they have no opinion. Maybe they don't know either way. They don't care. And they'll see this video and that'll cause them to go, oh, wow, I never thought of that. That's something I need to look into. So I guess the synopsis, to simplify it, my purpose, my agenda is to invoke thought, get people thinking. And I hope that that happens. Um, and if people would think about what they're saying, what they're doing, like um, a lot of the things that are being said nowadays, they don't even make sense. They're you can call them lies, you can call them misunderstandings. Um, I'm not going to say what they are. I don't know. I don't know if they really believe what they're saying or whether they're saying it just to fulfill that agenda that I was talking about. Could be very simply that they just they don't know any better. It's something that they heard. They don't research. They're like, they read it on Twitter, and they're just go and repeat it. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, I'm hoping that this video causes someone somewhere, maybe even a lot of people, to go through a thought process that makes them go, okay, that's different. May not change their mind, but as long as they're thinking about it, as long as they're putting a thought into it, then I've successfully completed my agenda. Um, Going back to the border, that's like I said, these people they have their gated communities, their security guards, their security systems, their car alarms, their panic buttons. They have all these things to keep people out, but they allow people to come. They're all for having them come onto our land. And no, it's not stolen. People say, "Oh, it's stolen." It's not stolen. It was legally purchased. I would give it to someone, I don't necessarily agree because the cost of living and everything was completely different years and years and years ago. A couple hundred years ago. Uh, so I can't say that it was an uneven purchase. That the French down like Florida and Louisiana and stuff, that the Hispanics for California, Texas, New Mexico, all that. Um, Whoever. Uh, I'm not going to keep putting it out there, but whoever it was, um, the purchase price may or may not have been fair. Who's to say? Um, I've heard some experts say that with the exchange of back then compared to now, it was fair. I've also heard them say that it's not anywhere close to being fair. Um, you you could have only gotten a couple of acres for in comparison. I don't know, whatever it is, but it was bought. It was an agreement. Nobody was forced to accept that. If it's a car, talking about a Lamborghini earlier, if somebody will accept $300 for you know, their Lamborghini, and I pay for it, I didn't steal their Lamborghini. I didn't put a gun to their head. I said I'll give you 300, and they said okay. That's a fair exchange. So it being stolen, I don't even consider that. I'm not going to get into that because honestly, I don't know. I don't know if it was fair or unfair exchange. But whatever it was an agreed upon exchange, which makes it legal. That's what makes it. Um, that's what makes it so that the land was not stolen. So that's out. The people, they aren't coming back to their own land. Um, on top of that, the land that they're talking about was stolen is out, Texas, like the what I just named, Texas and California. That's the land that they're saying was stolen. We're just coming back to our stolen land. Then why are some of y'all in Georgia and Alabama and Tennessee? I wasn't stolen from you, but some of y'all are here. So that's not the reason. You can say that all you want to, but that's not why you're here. You're not coming back to your stolen land, or you would still be in Texas. If that's what you really believe. Obviously, that's not your purpose. Um, that moves me into um, the protests. Most of the people protesting are white Americans. There's very few Hispanics and nearly no illegal that are protesting. And I keep putting the quotes up because they call it a protest, but looks like rioting to me. Looks like looting to me. You're not protesting when you bust a window out of a store and go in and grab TVs and stereos and clothes. That's not protesting. That's looting. I agree with a protest. It goes back to what I was saying earlier about my time in the military. My time in the military, I was fighting for your right to make choices. You vote for your rights. I was fighting for your right to vote. So if you want to protest, it's one of your rights. If you're an American citizen, like I say, there's very few illegals that are out there protesting. They don't want to draw attention to themselves. So I don't know why white Americans want to go say anything. It's not their place. It's not their fight. That aside, I digress. Um, you can't get your point across by going out and burning buildings, burning cars, busting windows out of businesses, looting businesses. All you're doing is making yourself, wherein your point, obsolete. It doesn't even compute. It doesn't matter. Your fight is futile, let's say, because you are making yourself and your, sorry about that, trying to get it, looked like it was turning there. You're making your argument look ridiculous. You're making yourself look ridiculous. You aren't helping your cause by causing damage. What you are doing is making your cause look like more of an issue. And I don't mean that in a good way. I don't mean that your cause has more eyes on it that are sympathetic because of the damage and burning, all that. That's not what I mean. I mean more like more people look at it, even people that are on your side will look at it and go, those are some idiots. Those are people that I don't want to be around. I don't want to be tied to them or their cause in any way, because of what they're doing. So now you've lost, let's say half. Half of your support is gone because they don't want to be associated with the illegal and disruptive acts. So it doesn't make sense. You're becoming a criminal by causing property damage in support of criminals who crossed a border illegally. I don't know, my mind does not wrap around that. My mind does not really comprehend that. It's something I can't even explain it. I would rather make a point being loud. If you're protesting, be loud. Be on the streets. Don't disrupt anything. Don't get in the road trying to block traffic. That just makes you an idiot. I can't say that. Well, I could, but I'm not going to. That makes you an a-hole. Somebody's trying to get to work and you're going to block the street so that they can't go to work. Why aren't you at work? As a matter of fact, if they're at work, if they're going to work, you're blocking them from going to work. Maybe you should get a job. Somebody's just trying to make a living. Let's say at their privately owned bakery, and you come and bust all the windows out. Now they have to shut down. They probably can't sell the inventory that they have because there's glass everywhere. They have to get that cleaned up and pay for the windows to be replaced. And what was the point? What did that bakery have to do with anything that you're fighting for? Nothing. None. I don't know. It boggles my mind. So anyway, that's just where I wanted to get started. Maybe somewhere along the way, it looks like there is one person that's here right now, and I do appreciate you for coming in and listening to me rant. Hopefully some people will see this and start making comments. Let me know what you want to hear about or my thoughts on. Like I say, it's just an opinion. There's probably not going to be any proof. Even if I have read proof, or I've read a medical journal that proves what I'm saying, most likely I'm not going to take the time to pull it up. The best I will do is say, go look at Joe Snuffy's medical journal and read the article. So I won't be presenting proof or anything, but trust that this is what I believe. This isn't clickbait. This isn't trolling. It's what I believe. It's how I think. And anybody that watches, I sure would appreciate a thumbs up if you agree with me. A thumbs down if you think I'm a complete moron. Leave some comments. Let me know what your opinions are. Let me know how I did. Make suggestions on how I can improve. This may not be an everyday thing. Also, I was saying at the beginning that maybe a couple of hours or up to a couple of hours. And I don't think it's going to be an everyday thing. It's going to be just a periodic, every once in a while thing. But when I do IRLs in the future, I do want to make sure that they are as good as I can possibly get them. I want to make sure that I cover subjects that people want to hear about. So let me know about some suggestions. As I said, give me a thumbs up if you like what I've said or agree with it. Give me a thumbs down if you don't. Make suggestions, comments, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Um, I have a lot of music videos that I've made. Those, by the way, I write the music. I write the song, I should say. I write the song, put it into a uh, just completely lost my train of thought. See, that's what happens in real life. Um, I put it into the AI. Put it into AI, and the AI creates a singer and the music that I suggest. I put in, for instance, want it to be a '90s hair band, hard rock, similar to Motley Crue. So it'll do all that. Um, so I give a suggestion on the music, but it actually writes the music, assigns the singer, and I have written the lyrics. So they are all my lyrics. Some songs I'm really proud of. Some of them, but I went ahead and posted them just because I don't know, just to post. It's something I did for fun for a while. I would like to start getting into reaction videos. However, I have not figured out how people do them. I see what they look like, and then I've tried to do tests with several different editors to do exactly what they do, where it's like side by side, have one video playing here, somebody else's video, and then I'm over here reacting to it. I've tried it, and I can't. I don't know. I can't get it to work. I can't figure it out. One day I will. I would like to do those. I have out of like 98 videos that I would like to react to that I've already saved. So anyway, with that, I'm going to get out of here. Hope y'all have a great day, a great evening, um, and make sure to take a second to smile. Your smile could be what improves somebody else's day. Your smile could be what saves somebody from making a bad choice. Your smile could change the world. So with that, I am out of here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you.